I want to ask you about the tech stack from going from Superside to ClickUp. Like
hmm
on the outside, I thought, the tech stack was going to look very different going to a much bigger company, but there was a ton of growth at Superside, and like I'm curious to hear like the journey from like starting from almost nothing to like where you guys left off. Like I was looking at the code on the site, and you guys had like Mixpanel, HubSpot, Sixth Sense, VWO, Datadog, Dream Data, Segment, Wistia, Salesforce, like a ton of tools.
Yeah,
And at ClickUp, similarly now, Census, shout out for the sponsors on the show, Marketo, Full Story, Clearbit, Datadog, Segment, Salesforce, Wistia,
more.
Contentful, like
There's lots
maybe a
more.
little bit more, but yeah, curious your takes there. Like, what was that surprising to you? Like, how much do you get your hands dirty in Martech these days?
Yeah, I actually don't. We have a pretty amazing data team, and we have a separate but like adjacent Martech team, marketing ops team that actually doesn't live under me. They're like more like a centralized function that support a lot of the other
Okay,
groups.
very cool.
The Just to take a step back, the way that ClickUp's organized growth is there's like the user funnel, if you will, which is the PLG motion, like get people into the freemium product, doesn't matter what they use us for, then can we retain them for 3 days, 7 days, 14 days, so on, right? So that PLG user centric machine is related but separate from the more like top down mid market enterprise marketing machine, which is what I'm running. So it's like data and ops kind of sits in the middle and they power both of our funnels, so to speak. There's overlap, but they're not the same. If you, my boss explains it like in the simplest way. He was like, you're attracting buyers and the PLG machine is attracting users. And those users might be buyers, but they may not all be buyers. And we have some data that shows which ones might be which. But there's a whole stack that I was not familiar with. For example, we just implemented something called Topline, which is a very classic ML model for qualifying where's usage inside your accounts. They look at it at the account level. Where is usage happening inside your accounts? Which usage is, I'll just call it positive usage, like, like return users, et cetera, et cetera. So there's like some scoring mechanism. And then which of those accounts actually have a shit ton of white space? So they look at that as well. So like maybe it's like a 5,000 person company and we only are being used by 500 people, right? So it's like, ooh, white space is high. And then it stack ranks every account that we have.
Hmm.
So that is super valuable for me because I'm like, okay, expansion. How am I going to expand
Yeah.
into Walmart, Coca-Cola, whatever, right? And it stack ranks everything. And I map it by geos as much as I can based on the billing state, which is kind of messy because like people don't live where the headquarters is. But now I know, oh, there's a hub in Dallas for us. Oh, there's a hub in like Austin, Texas, or there's a hub in Santa Clara or Palo Alto, whatever that looks like, right? Like I can now say, okay, my expansion funnel is in these hotspots. And by the way, these accounts, essentially my ABM program, because of Topline, is let me just go after those stack grant accounts exactly. And I refresh that like every month or so. It doesn't change much, but every month or so, I'm just like, okay, here are the new accounts that we're going to do ABM after. So that was a new product for me that I hadn't used in the past. We also have powered our sales reps, the few sales reps that we have, with something called Pocus, which just allows them to kind of see like what's happening inside the account, what the interesting moments are, and then they can choose to like kind of like enact certain playbooks around that. So yeah, those are two new ones for me. And then of course there's like the standard like Platoon and that whole mixed bag of like looking at work, signups and who's progressing to checkouts, who's actually purchasing, who's not, what's the fallout rate, which ICPs, which users are actually progressing, so on and so forth.